right, family, this is what we're doing. Now we can take out some of these. We're making some string beans and potatoes. We're going to take some baby back ribs and some party wings and put some barbecue sauce and honey on them. And we're going to make some baked beans, string beans with potatoes and bacon, honey barbecue wings, some baby backs, and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing. So what I'm doing right now is when we make these, we also want to use a little bit of this hot liquor because that's extra seasoning for the baked beans. We also, the rest of this hot liquor that's in here, because what we did was we cut our bacon in half. When you cut the bacon in half, you're going to use half for your baked beans and the other half for your string beans. So, my stuff is cooking kind of fast right now, so let's turn this down and get this going on here. So, let's start putting these string beans inside of this skillet, because we don't want, the object of the game is not to burn up this bacon. So since we're cooking 4 cans, you're gonna pour the fluid off of 2 of them. Okay? You pour the fluid off of 2, and the other two you leave it with the fluid on there because we need that because we're gonna put potatoes in there as well. So just trying to hurry up and get this in here before this gets burning on us. And that's what we don't need. You know, it's nothing like having some real good food, but the real good food is burnt, you know. So we're not trying to burn up nothing here. So we got to get this on and going here.
Like summer's gonna go away, like it's sunny outside. Whenever you smile.
Now me, I particularly care for the French style string beans. I just like those. You know, some people just like regular cut string beans, and some people like the French style. Me and my crew, we like the French style. Okay, so we're gonna cook 4 cans of this because real cool vegetable for the kids, and they really need it. You know, to go with this starch. When you're cooking a good meal, you want a good meal that has a starch, a protein, which is the main dish, which is usually whatever meat you're doing, and the starch is usually the side dish like macaroni and cheese. Whatever rice or whatever, and then you want a good vegetable. So when you're cooking, you know, don't just go in there and just fry some chicken and that's it. Unless you're gonna have what my mama calls a fold over, which is a piece of chicken and a piece of bread. Now, unless you're gonna just have some regular fold overs, then no. Make sure you make some sides to go with that. So now that kind of calmed that down from cooking. So what we're going to do is I have some already seasoned baked beans, okay? But if you don't have already seasoned baked beans and you're making baked beans from scratch, let me tell you what you're going to put in. In regular baked beans from scratch, you're going to have a can of regular pork and beans. Let me show you. Hold on. Regular pork and beans, okay? And when you're making baked beans, of course you want to put some bacon in there. You want bacon, you want the pot liquor from the bacon, a little bit of that oil from the bacon. You want brown sugar, okay? Now with your brown sugar, family, when you're using brown sugar, when you're not using it, to keep it from getting hard, you put it in the freezer. That keeps brown sugar from getting hard. It'll always stay soft. If after you use it, seal it back up, close the box up real good, and put it in the freezer, and your brown sugar will not get will not get hard. Okay. But when you're back to making this baked beans, you want to season them with a little black pepper, a little bit of seasoned salt. You want some Worcestershire sauce, some liquid smoke, brown sugar. And that's how you make baked beans. That's all you need, and they will be on deck. Trust me. Each and every time. Oh, I done spilled some stuff. Each and every time they will be good. Very, very good. But if you just doing on a quick tip like me right now, and you buy something that's already seasoned, see, I put 1 can of the maple brown sugar with the 2 hickory. With the 2 hickory and bacon. Okay? So, because I didn't want all 3 cans to be of the brown sugar, so I just kind of flipped it up and just, didn't, have all of the same. But yeah, that's how you make baked beans, and then you just cover it up and you put it in the oven and let it work. Or you can also, my mama, she would put onion. She would cut up some onion, finely cut up some onions, put some onion in there, cover it up, or put a little barbecue sauce in them too. Cover them up, baby, and you talking about some good eating? Very, very good eating. So I don't have to put any liquid smoke or anything in these guys because they already seasoned already, and so they don't need it. So I'm going to take for granted that they're already good to go, which I'm sure they are. And especially when you use that pot liquor from the bacon, it's just an extra seasoning for them. It makes them really, really tasty and good. So this is just a quick way of making your family a little bit of baked beans. But you always want to put some bacon in them. Now, I don't know nothing about no turkey bacon. Now, I ain't never cooked with that. So I don't know nothing about that. Give me the regular pig shit. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. Alright, family. So we have our baked beans ready. We're going to put those on regular 350. And let those guys go and do what they going to do while we get the rest of this together. So now our baked beans are doing what they're supposed to do. Now to season up your string beans, I'm making a mess. That's a big pet peeve of mine. I don't like things on my hands, and I like my cooking area clean as I'm cooking. So, okay, now we're going to move this out of the way. See, I like my cooking area together as I'm cooking. So, what you're going to do, string beans and potatoes. These are our potatoes. We're going to just take the water off of these guys because we don't need the extra fluid. The extra water in there is enough in there as it is. And then we're just going to add the potatoes in there like that. And we're going to just season it with seasoning salt, black pepper. Now you can also cut up finely some onion and put some onion in this. But you're going to put seasoning salt, black pepper, and a little vinegar. Get the vinegar. And some vinegar. Now, again, people, when you're using vinegar, you don't use a whole lot. You don't use a whole lot because it will definitely change the taste up and make it to where the kids are not going to eat it. So you don't want to just go too heavy on that like that. Put a little bit, taste it, see what it tastes like. If it tastes good to you, then keep on going with it. If it don't, Then don't put a whole bunch of vinegar in there because you will mess up your whole dish. And it's not worth it. We pay too much for this stuff to be in here just messing up some stuff. Okay, so now we got our baked beans in the oven. Our string beans. We just fried some bacon. We used the pot liquor from the bacon. And we put potatoes in there. We put 4 cans of string beans. We poured the fluid off of 2 cans and put the rest of it in here. We put the potatoes in here, seasoning salt, black pepper, a little bit of vinegar. That's it. You cut it on low, you let that work. Now we're getting ready to get started on our meat. We're getting ready to get started on this chicken. Now, on your party wings, when you buy party wings like this, when they freeze them in like a chicken broth. So there's no need to really wash these guys. They've already been, you know, cut in portions. They've already been washed already. So we just pray on it that, you know, that they're good to go. Because in actuality, you know, the way that they freeze them in a broth and stuff. So you don't, there's no need to wash these guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rest of this black pepper in here because it's not that much. So I season it right in the bag. So we're going to put the rest of that black pepper in there. Now when you're making, cut that down. When you're making barbecue chicken wings, like the honey barbecue wings that you get from KFC or the Asian places or wherever you go, you do not put, you season them lightly. You don't put a lot of salt. Excuse me. You don't put a lot of the salt. You don't put no garlic on them whatsoever. And then you just lightly season them because you're going to put that barbecue sauce on them. So you don't want the taste to be overwhelming with, you know, a fried chicken taste. You know, you don't want that. So I've allowed my grease to get a little bit too hot. So we're going to let that cool down just a little bit. Because we don't want, when you cook chicken too hot, when the grease is too hot, you end up having an outside brown and the inside is not done. So you get the grease hot first, and once the grease gets hot, then you turn the fire down on your grease. Or in my case, all my stuff is electric, excuse me. So I just cut the fire down, cut the flame down on the burners, cool it down a little bit. So, okay, here we go. That's gonna be pretty much all she wrote on these wings right here. Okay. You always want to smell it. That lets you know that your stuff is okay. It's seasoned pretty good. When you smell it, and you smell seasoned, yeah. Excuse me. Now that's how we know that the food is seasoned pretty good. When you can smell it and you smell seasoned, more times than not it's cool. Okay, so now let's take a little flour, sprinkle it on this grease to see what it's doing. Okay, it's hot, but it's not to the point where it would be too hot. I always save my flour from cooking one batch to the other. So when I open up the bag, you know how like you have like, you know, little hard pieces of flour. Just take that stuff out of there. But that flour is good as gravy, baby, to use again. You just put it in a Ziploc and keep on moving with it. Now, if you want your chicken to be really battered up really good and have a good crisp to them, you don't put a whole lot of them in the skillet at one time, because the more crowded they don't be as fluffy, you know, they don't be as battered and crispy if you want them that way.